with weathered walls of weathered stone, a dusty road and iron gates, where I first met my fate. You wore a rose beside your hair, the summer wind was dancing there. One smile beneath the evening sky, and I was yours for all my life. Roses on the hacienda gate, blooming for a love too late. Every petal whispers low of the girl I used to know. Though the years have slipped away, my heart still finds that lonely place where one young cowboy lost his way to roses on the hacienda gate. Your father dreamed of wealth and land, he'd never bless a poor man's hand. So I rode off beneath the stars with a broken heart and scars. They say you stayed through autumn rains, watching down those country lanes, waiting for a love so true that never made it back to you. Roses on the hacienda gate, blooming for a love too late. Every petal whispers low of the girl I used to know. Though the years have slipped away, my heart still finds that lonely place where one young cowboy lost his way to roses on the hacienda gate. Tonight I ride those trails again, an old vaquero chasing them. The moon still shines upon the hill, and somehow time stands still. I touch the gate with weathered hands, the roses bloom like they once planned. 1,000 words I could not say still linger there today. Roses on the hacienda gate, some loves are written into fate. Though we never wore the rings, you were all my heart could sing. When my riding days are through, lay one red rose where we once stood, and let the desert softly say, love never left the hacienda gate. The stars grow bright, the night grows deep, old promises they always keep. A lonely heart of memories flame, and roses calling out your name at the old hacienda gate. The sun went down on adobe walls as evening answered the church bell calls. A dusty street, one last cafe, where we promised we'd never fade. You wore a flower in your hair, the desert wind was in the air. I held your hands as shadows grew, and wished the night could carry through. Goodbye, my sweet Chihuahua, don't let your heart forget my name. If the stars should guide this cowboy, I'll find my way to you again. Though the miles may pull asunder, and time may wash our dreams away, you'll always be my golden sunset. Goodbye, my sweet Chihuahua. My old horse waited by the gate, like he could feel the hand of fate. The cantina played a lonesome tune beneath the rising silver moon. Your father stood with quiet eyes, knowing love must sometimes rise. You gave a cross into my hand and whispered, "Come home if you can." Goodbye, my sweet Chihuahua, don't let your heart forget my name. If the stars should guide this cowboy, I'll find my way to you again. Though the miles may pull asunder, and time may wash our dreams away, you'll always be my golden sunset. Goodbye, my sweet Chihuahua. If someday these old trails should end, and heaven lets lost lovers mend, I'll wait beneath that ancient tree where you first smiled at me. No riches could have bought your heart, no distance tears true love apart. The desert knows, the wild winds know, some loves were never meant to go. Goodbye, my sweet Chihuahua, the night's too long to ride alone. Keep a candle by your window for this cowboy coming home. When my weary days are over and my wandering soul can rest, I'll meet you where the roses bloom and love outlives the west. The hoofbeats fade into the night, the stars above are burning bright. One last wave, one last embrace, a cowboy rides with tears he cannot hide. Goodbye, my sweet Chihuahua, until the good Lord leads me home. desert wind still calls your name through cactus fields that look the same. A lonely horse, an old campfire, and a heart that never lost desire. I ride the trails we used to know, past dusty towns and sunsets low. The stars above still shine for two, but old Sonora hides from you. Oh, moonlight over old Sonora, carry my love across the border. Tell her this cowboy still believes she's dancing somewhere through the trees. If I could turn these years around, I'd chase your footsteps through this town. But all I've got are songs to sing and the moonlight where we dream. The cantina closed a long time back. The railroad stole the old dirt track. The church bell rings across the plain, but it can't wash away this pain. Your ribbon hangs upon my hat, just where your gentle hand left that. I never found a love so true since old Sonora lost you. Oh, moonlight over old Sonora, carry my love across the border. Tell her this cowboy still believes she's dancing somewhere through the trees. If I could turn these years around, I'd chase your footsteps through this town. But all I've got are songs to sing and the moonlight where we dream. If heaven's just beyond the hills, I'll ride until the night stands still. No gold, no fame, no silver skies could ever take you from my mind. Oh, moonlight over old Sonora, guide this weary heart toward her. One last trail beneath the stars, no matter how near or far. When my old horse can't carry me, lay my boots beneath that tree and tell the world this cowboy knew his only home was loving you. The desert sleeps, the fire burns low. One last whisper, soft and slow, under the moon so silver blue. Old Sonora, I'm coming home to you. I left my home a younger man, with a rifle cold in both my hands. Mama cried beneath the sun, said, "Come back safe when the war is done." I crossed the mountains, crossed the plains, learned that glory carries pain. Years rolled by like rivers flow. Now there's just one place to go. It's the last ride to Santa Rosa, where the old church bells still know us. Down the trail where wild winds blow to the only home I've ever known. I've lost my friends, I've lost my pride, and the girl who swore she'd be my bride. But I'll chase the setting sun once more on my last ride to Santa Rosa. The little house by the cotton trees lives only in my memory. Her red shawl dancing in the breeze, like a prayer carried through the leaves. I heard she waited through the years, then disappeared with silent tears. Maybe heaven called her name, maybe I was just too late. It's the last ride to Santa Rosa, where the old church bells still know us. Down the trail where wild winds blow to the only home I've ever known. I've lost my friends, I've lost my pride, and the girl who swore she'd be my bride. But I'll chase the setting sun once more on my last ride to Santa Rosa. My old horse walks a little slow. We've seen more winters than we'll show. The stars above light up the way for an old vaquero growing gray. No riches wait beyond that hill, just dusty roads and memories still. If love can live beyond goodbye, she'll meet me where the eagles fly. It's the last ride to Santa Rosa, no more battles left to shoulder. Lay my hat beside the door, I won't be riding anymore. If she hears these weary rains calling softly, tell her I've been true. The sun fell low on the Texas plain, casting long ghosts across the range. A cold wind whispered through the sage as I turned another weathered page. The trail was old, the tracks were thin, like echoes fading in the wind. But somewhere out beyond these grounds, the bandits ran through forgotten towns. Every mile carried another clue, every sunset painted something new. Though the road ahead was rough and long, the hunt kept pulling me along. I'm chasing shadows through forgotten towns, down broken roads where silence sounds, past empty churches and rusted signs, searching for ghosts left behind. The moonlight's paths no map has found, across lost places worn and worn down, till I bring those outlaws to the ground. I'm chasing shadows through forgotten towns. A widow spoke from her front porch swing about 6 riders dressed in black and green. She said they vanished near Miller's Creek, where the hills grow tall and the roads grow steep. I tipped my hat and rode away, following stories from day to day. Each village carried the same old fear, their names still echoed year by year. The stars above became my guide, while lonely coyotes cried outside. The deeper I rode into unknown ground, the closer I came to tracking them down. I'm chasing shadows through forgotten towns, down broken roads where silence sounds, past empty churches and rusted signs, searching for ghosts left behind. The moonlight's paths no map has found, across lost places worn and worn down, till I bring those outlaws to the ground. I'm chasing shadows through forgotten towns. One cold night by Canyon Wall, I saw their campfire burning small. The men I'd hunted across the years were finally standing near. The desert held its breath that night as justice stepped into the light. No place left for them to run, no place left beneath the sun. I was chasing shadows through forgotten towns, through dust and rain and sacred goes through those old towns, past faded doors and fairgrounds. And when the night wraps the prairie in its gown, I hear the echoes of forgotten towns.
The sun was sinking low in the Texas sky, painting red flames where the buzzards fly. Got a weathered saddle and a badge of steel, chasing the men who forgot what's real. They robbed the bank down in Cedar Lane, left good folks crying in the pouring rain. Now their tracks run north through the canyon floor, and I ain't turning back anymore. I'm riding beyond the dusty frontier, following whispers that nobody hears, through lonely valleys and old dirt roads, carrying justice with a heavy load. The wind keeps calling, the trail runs long, but a cowboy's heart keeps pushing on, till the last outlaw disappears. I'm riding beyond the dusty frontier. 3 days gone and the trail grew cold, through forgotten villages tired and old. Wooden church stand against the wind, folks said the bandits had been there again. An old man pointed toward the hills, said they hide where the river stands still. So I tipped my hat and I thanked him kindly, then rode into the night behind me. I'm riding beyond the dusty frontier, following whispers that nobody hears, through lonely valleys and old dirt roads, carrying justice with a heavy load. The wind keeps calling, the trail runs long, but a cowboy's heart keeps pushing on, till the last outlaw disappears. I'm riding beyond the dusty frontier. Moonlight dancing on a 6-gun chrome, miles from the ranch that I call home. Every step of my horse through the midnight sand brings me closer to the promised stand. I'm riding beyond the dusty frontier, where courage is stronger than doubt or fear. The stars above are my only guide, and the Texas plains right by my side. When the dawn arrives and the smoke clears, the law will stand and the truth appears, till the last outlaw disappears. I'm riding beyond the dusty frontier, beyond the dust, beyond the fear. A Texas cowboy is still There was trouble down in Redstone Creek, a quiet town, peaceful and meek, till a gang of robbers rolled in one night, like thunder hidden from the light. They took the money, they took the gold, left frightened stories to be told. Before the dawn could paint the sky, the robbers vanished without goodbye. The sheriff searched, but the trail grew cold, across the plains so wide and old. Then I saddled up and rode along, following signs that few had known. I'm headed where the robbers ran to hide, beyond the hills and the rivers wide, through forgotten villages lost in time, following footprints and fading signs. The wind keeps secrets, the desert lies beneath the moon and endless skies, till justice finds them side by side. I'll ride where the robbers ran to hide. An old woman standing by a well told me a story she knew too well. 6 hard men came through here last week, heading north toward Blackstone Peak. So I followed roads worn thin by years, through lonely towns filled with fear. Every porch and every door had heard their names before. The nights grew colder, the trail grew rough, but turning back was not enough. The farther they ran from what they'd done, the closer I came with the morning sun. I'm headed where the robbers ran to hide, beyond the hills and the rivers wide, through forgotten villages lost in time, following footprints and fading signs. The wind keeps secrets, the desert lies beneath the moon and endless skies, till justice finds them side by side. I'll ride where the robbers ran to hide. At the edge of a canyon deep and gray, I found their camp at break of day. No more running, no more disguise, no more shadows for them to hide. The desert stood silent as the dawn appeared, washing away years of fear. One final chapter written in the sand, justice delivered by a steady hand. I rode where the robbers ran to hide, across the wild countryside, through storms and gusts and endless miles, guided by faith all the while. Now the town sleeps safe tonight, their land the tale of a cowboy riding an endless trail. And somewhere beneath the western sky lives the legend of where the robbers ran to hide. I was born where the longhorns roam, under a sky that I call home. The Texas sun burned tough and bright, teaching me wrong from right. Then one morning the word came down, bandits had struck another town. They stole the payroll and disappeared, leaving behind nothing but fear. I tightened my saddle and checked my gear. The trail was fresh and the signs were clear. No matter how far those outlaws ran, I'd follow them across the land. I'm a Texas cowboy on the bandit's trail, through desert winds and canyon trails, across the rivers and mountain rails. I won't stop till justice prevails, with my horse and the stars above, and a heart that's built on grit and love. No storm, no dust, no prison jail can stop a Texas cowboy on the bandit's trail. The tracks led north through an old ghost town, past broken windows falling down. An old storekeeper shook his head. They rode through here, was all he said. I crossed dry valleys and rocky ground, through hidden villages far around. Every mile brought me one step near to the men who spread their fear. The prairie moon lit up the night, guiding my horse by silver light. The farther I rode, the more I knew their days of running were nearly through. I'm a Texas cowboy on the bandit's trail, through desert winds and canyon trails, across the rivers and mountain rails. I won't stop till justice prevails, with my horse and the stars above, and a heart that's built on grit and love. No storm, no dust, no prison jail can stop a Texas cowboy on the bandit's trail. At dawn I found them by a creek. Their camp was quiet, their faces weak. They'd spent too long looking over their backs, trying to stay ahead of the tracks. The desert wind began to rise, dust swirling beneath the skies. One last stand in the morning haze, ending all their outlaw days. I'm a Texas cowboy on the bandit's trail, and every outlaw story fails when truth rides hard and courage sails. Justice rides the fight
magic dengan perpaduan gitar akustik country, fiddle, harmonika, dan sentuhan country rock khas Texas Coca untuk vokal pria. Dengan karakter suara dalam dan kuat, ala koboi pengembara yang memburu para penjahat melintasi padang gurun dan desa-desa terpencil Chicago, Chicago. Down by the banks of Hollow Creek, where the cottonwoods bend and the coyotes speak, a gang of outlaws rode through the night, leaving burning lanterns and a trail of fright. They took the gold and they stole the cash, vanished away in a thunderous dash. Every town from here to the county line whispered their names like a warning sign. Sheriffs came and sheriffs went, but the outlaws never paid their rent. Like ghosts they faded with the morning sun, leaving broken hearts and smoking guns. They're the outlaws of Hollow Creek, wild as the wind and impossible to keep, riding through the darkness, hiding from the law, leaving every witness standing there in awe. The outlaws of Hollow Creek, living by the trigger and the code they see. But every trail must reach its end someday. Justice is coming their way. I was a cowboy from Texas land, with a six-string guitar and a steady hand. When the call came down from a widow's door, I saddled my horse and rode once more, across dry deserts and mountain stones, following tracks where the bandits had gone. Through forgotten villages tucked away, I hunted their shadows day by day. An old saloon man pointed west, said that's where those devils rest. I thanked the man and rode ahead toward the canyon painted red. They're the outlaws of Hollow Creek, wild as the wind and impossible to keep, riding through the darkness, hiding from the law, leaving every witness standing there in awe. The outlaws of Hollow Creek, living by the trigger and the code they see. But every trail must reach its end someday, and justice is coming their way. Under moonlight, silver and cold, the final chapter began to unfold. At the edge of a valley where the rivers meet, I found the gang from Hollow Creek. No words were spoken, no place to run, only the silence before the guns. When the dust settled with the morning light, wrong and right had faced their fight. They were the outlaws of Hollow Creek, feared by the strong and the poor and weak. Their reign of thunder finally came undone beneath the rising western sun. The outlaws of Hollow Creek, now just a story the old folks speak. But around campfires when the nights grow deep, you'll still hear tales of Hollow Creek. Down by the banks of Hollow Creek, where the cottonwoods bend and the coyotes speak, the wind still carries echoes through the night of outlaws, legends, and one last ride. I left these banks when I was young, with restless dreams upon my tongue. A borrowed horse, an old guitar, and a heart that chased the stars. The Rio flowed beside my trail, through cottonwoods and dusty rails. She carried secrets to the sea and stole a part of me. I'm just dust of the Rio Grande, slipping softly through God's hand. Wandering soul with miles to roam, still looking for the road back home. I've seen the mountains, crossed the plains, lost some love and earned some pain, but every trail leads me again to the dust of the Rio Grande. I knew a girl with eyes so bright, she'd laugh beneath the desert night. We carved our names upon a tree and swore that's where we'd always be. But seasons turn and rivers bend, young hearts don't always understand. She stayed while I kept moving on. By the time I knew she'd gone, I'm just dust of the Rio Grande, slipping softly through God's hand. A wandering soul with miles to roam, still looking for the road back home. I've seen the mountains, crossed the plains, lost some love and earned some pain, but every trail leads me again to the dust of the Rio Grande. silver hides beneath my skin. My faithful horse walks by my side, like an old friend through the night. The river hums a lonesome tune beneath the stars and harvest moon. It tells me time won't wait for men, but home can heal them in the end. I'm just dust of the Rio Grande, a weathered heart in a weathered land. If tomorrow calls my name, lay me where the wild winds came. No marble stone, no grand parade, just an old guitar that's softly played. And let the river carry me forever wild and free. The fire burns, the coyotes cry, a lonely eagle fills the sky. One last song, one last refrain, for the boy I was back then. The river rolls, the years have flown, and the Rio always leads me home.